were doing a debate on which is the more deadly species. My species is the Xenopsylla cheopis, better known as the Oriental rat flea. It's a wingless parasite. It moves around by jumping. They're about 1 millimeter long, so they're kind of hard to spot, but you can generally do it. They have 3 body parts: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. Then they have a mouth, which is primarily used for sucking blood. However, it can inject saliva to prevent coagulation of the blood that it's sucking, which is how it transmits bacteria and why it's a deadly insect. They are differentiated from other fleas due to lack of genal or pronotal combs. They have 4 life stages: the egg, larva, the pupa, and the adult. They can spend about 6 months in the pupa stage during metamorphosis. However, it can vary widely depending on the conditions and when they're born. They don't start sucking blood until the adult stage, in which they can live about a year. The fleas mostly live on rats. However, they are capable of living on most mammals, including dogs, cats, and humans. They can mate once a day, lay up to 50 eggs, so they're pretty numerous. They're pretty hard to get rid of once you do have them. And they feed exclusively on the blood of mammals. The fleas have a huge impact on human society, specifically by the amount of disease they bring, including murine typhus, which is a severe rash that's rampant in temperate climates, including Texas, where it's been estimated that up to 13% of children have it at any given time. And they're also responsible for transmitting the bubonic plague, of which thousands of cases are still reported, and it's the deadliest disease in human history at any specific point in time, making them the most dangerous insect.
Okay, my name is Austin Van Overdam, and my species is the Anopholes gambiae, or the marsh mosquito. Mosquitoes lay their eggs in water in batches of 100 to 300 eggs at a time. These eggs form a floating raft on the water. Most eggs are laid at night in the water that is sheltered from wind and sunlight. The mosquitoes then hatch into larvae. They stay in this stage for 4 to 14 days, depending on the temperature of the water they are laid in and the surrounding environment. Then they grow into pupas and finally into adult mosquitoes. Female adult mosquitoes are the mosquitoes that feed on blood. Most mosquitoes feed on when it is early in the morning or when the sun is going down, and they also feed on into the night. Contrary to popular belief, mosquitoes would actually rather feed on animals' blood than humans, like cattle or birds, but when they are not available, they will feed on human blood. Mosquitoes can carry many nasty diseases that they spread to humans and animals through biting them. According to the World Health Organization, mosquitoes infect over 300 million people a year with malaria or dengue, and those are just 2 of the diseases that they can carry. Of those 300 million people infected, 800,000 will die from malaria and 20,000 will die from dengue. I believe that this makes the mosquitoes the most deadly insect in the world.
Okay, my rebuttal to that is that even though 800,000 people per year do die, that's relatively low out of the 300 million that are infected, and 800,000 is a really low percentage of the global population, less than 1%. Whereas when there was a major outbreak of bubonic plague, about a third of Europeans died and 20% of the world population died. Furthermore, it has about a 90% death rate if untreated, whereas with malaria, 800,000 out of 300 million is a pretty treatable disease. The outbreaks, even modern outbreaks, are still likely to lead to really deadly death tolls. One in Africa recently was over 10,000, and yearly there's several thousand cases reported.
Okay, my rebuttal to that is, while the rat flea can be responsible for causing the bubonic plague, the bubonic plague is a problem that has declined very, very much in recent years. The mosquito can cause many different deadly diseases. They can cause malaria, Zika virus, West Nile virus, St. Louis encephalitis, and Eastern equine encephalitis. Mosquito diseases in Africa alone cost more than $12 billion in lost productivity from people missing work. Also, the production rate in mosquitoes is a lot higher than the rat flea. Mosquitoes can lay 100 to 300 eggs per day compared to only 50 per day with the flea. This makes the mosquito-borne diseases a lot harder to eradicate than the diseases contained by the rat flea.
All right, and my rebuttal to that is that even though Oriental rat fleas only do have one disease, the plague, it is much more painful to go through the plague than malaria or any of those diseases. Some of the common symptoms include swollen lymph nodes to the point where you can see them bulging out of the person's skin, vomiting blood uncontrollably to the point of dehydration, and extreme pain in the skin due to decomposition while the person is still alive, so their skin is literally decomposing. Furthermore, death from the plague occurs within 10 days, and it must be diagnosed within 24 hours of contracting it. But that's a problem because usually the initial symptoms are basically flu-like. So most people think they have the flu until about 72 hours in, at which point they get checked out, and by then it's too late to treat it effectively.
Nearly half of the world is at risk of contracting malaria. According to the World Health Organization, there were 214 million cases of malaria, and of those 214 million cases, 438,000 deaths were caused. This was in 2015, and that's just one of the diseases that mosquitoes can carry. In areas of the world where proper health care is not available, people cannot get the malaria vaccine that they need to prevent contracting this disease. However, mosquitoes not only cause diseases in developing countries, but they can also cause deadly diseases in developed countries. In recent years, the bubonic plague caused by the rat flea is really only a problem in developing countries. This shows just how hard it is to eradicate the mosquito-borne diseases compared to that of the rat flea.
All right, for my closing statement, I think the Oriental rat flea should still be studied, mostly because of the plague again, because it is one of the deadliest diseases in human history. There's thousands of new cases every year, including outbreaks every few years, mostly in Asia, but also a significant number in Africa and mostly undeveloped regions where they have trouble treating it and have problems with rats and rodents and things like that. Furthermore, new strands can develop, which are just as deadly and harder to treat by modern medicine. And by just as deadly, I mean they're totally capable of wiping out 20% of the world's population or 1/3 of any one continent, which is obviously a huge number. And it happens a lot faster than malaria could ever hope to. And once again, 90% death rate if it's untreated. So even if they developed a vaccine, by the time they did, huge numbers of people would be dying.
Okay, for my closing statement, I believe that mosquitoes are obviously the more dangerous of the two species. They pose more of a threat to human lives due to having very many different diseases that you can contract from them. Also, they reproduce at a very alarming rate. This makes killing off any mosquito-borne disease extremely difficult. Just in sheer number, mosquitoes kill more people than any other species, whether it be animal or insect, in any given year. It is more deadly to humans than the rat flea, but can also cripple a family financially. Mosquitoes can kill off people's livestock with diseases like equine encephalitis. So mosquitoes can get you from any angle. They can cause problems in all instances, which I believe makes them the most deadly to humans.
All right, well, this has been why the rat flea is more deadly than mosquito, or why the mosquito is more deadly than the rat flea. Thanks for watching.